Squirrel meme review. I know, it's not clapping. I'm still not doing the Brandon Herrera thing. I don't know him. I don't want to rip him off, and him and Angry Cops. I've seen what happens when you get on the bad side of those guys. I helped in some of that with Tony Gonzalez. It almost worked, too. Thwarted by the machine. Anyway, Peanut the Squirrel. For those of you who might not know, somehow, if you've been living under a rock, or you do not spend as much time on the internet as most of us, was a squirrel that was adopted by a man and his family. The man had seen the squirrel's mom be killed by a car, and he took the squirrel in, and for 7 years, he raised the squirrel, even bringing it up and making him a social media star, Peanut the Squirrel. Now, the money he raised from that, him and his family used to take that money, and they rescued animals. They started an animal rescue. And just a beautiful thing. Always good to rescue and help the animals, right? Well, all of that was fine and well until one day, folks, a Karen got involved. The Gestapo herself. Her name is really Karen. Like, this isn't the meme. This is just who she is. She works for the state of New York in their wildlife, whatever. I don't even care about the organization anymore. I don't care. Now, why did Karen get involved? Because of some bitch, a total bitch. Oh, horrible person. Son of a bitch. Anyway, this gal basically got really upset that Peanut was popular on the internet, and she couldn't get there with her shitty photography. So, needless to say, this gal filed a complaint that this man and his family had this squirrel that they were putting on the internet that was an undocumented squirrel. And, you know, anytime that the machine doesn't get what they want, they come to your door. I know. It's the Gestapo. I can see like them showing up. The guy said like 4 different organizations showed up at his house, cuffed him, put him around, searched their house for cameras, tried to find his wife's immigration status. I know my freaking heater's running and I'm wearing a squirrel costume. Tried to find his wife's immigration papers, which seems kind of unnecessary in the event that you're looking into an illicit squirrel. Now, they seized the squirrel and his friend Fred the raccoon. And, you know, the Gestapo do what the Gestapo do. I can only imagine that this is what the picture looked like when they got back to the station to show how much justice they sprayed all over New York that day. Just spraying justice all over his place. Just spraying their justice everywhere. Just, this guy's over here with this dude spraying his justice, and his justice is being sprayed over here. That's all I can imagine going on, this circle jerk of idiocracy. Now, these guys obviously are not the cops involved, but this is just one of those pictures you see of law enforcement showing off their stupid, small, you know, busts. In this case, it happened to be a squirrel. Why on earth, though, would it be such a big deal? Only one thing really comes to mind. And this might lead into what happened later on. See, after Peanut was incarcerated, or during the incarceration of Peanut and the seizure, Peanut bit one of the officers involved, and Peanut was euthanized, so they say. Now, authorities claim the cameras outside Peanut the squirrel's cage not working during time of death. Obviously an Epstein throwback. Clearly not what happened. They did a rabies test, and to test for rabies, they have to take their brain and do it that way. They did that both to Peanut and Fred, though Fred didn't bite anyone. It was weird because Peanut had been a domesticated pet for 7 flippin' years. If the freaking squirrel or the raccoon had rabies, the people in the house would have known because they would have found out. Rabies doesn't just hang out and do nothing dormant. Now, artwork has gone up all over the place, like this beautiful piece here that someone painted. This is just gorgeous, guys. I don't know who did this work, this mural, but if this is actually a mural and not just AI, that would be phenomenal. I'd love to see pictures. I would love to know who the artist is to give some credit to this, because this is just great. It's a great thing. We do have some people, though, that don't feel like it's necessary to care about all of this, and like this fellow here, Coffee Black, MD. I hope you're all aware that the squirrel was in the home illegally. Well, so are the third of the residents in New York City, Coffee Black. They're illegally. What are you going to put them down too, fella? Because, you know, we're just going to ignore certain things going on to focus on a squirrel like, I don't know, It's kind of interesting how the government will do this, turn the blind eye to this, especially in states like New York and California, where you have a lot of strange voter activity going only one direction at all times. Really easy to turn a blind eye to squirrels that can't vote, isn't it? Now, another group of people that normally are just obnoxious and loud about everything, aside from me, is PETA. And they have been really, really quiet about all of this. I wonder why. I don't actually know. It is curious, though, because PETA says that eating chicken is homicide and that KFC are committing a chicken genocide. And then they go and they protest beef at grocery stores. And I don't understand why they don't have something to say about this poor squirrel being euthanized. Again, guys, this is a squirrel that had been domesticated and raised by a family for 7 years and had raised money to help out a bunch of other animals. So good things had happened. People knew who Peanut was. He had a bigger following than I do by a lot. And I think we can all agree with this AI. I'm not normally a fan of AI, but I liked this one. New York can choke on our nuts for sure about all this. This was petty and stupid and totally unnecessary. And this next one is just really dark. Yep. Peanut can't breathe, bro. New York State Department of Environmental Conservation just can't breathe. I wonder if there's going to be any riots, you know? We'll see. It's like the squirrel just wanted freedom. Give me liberty or give me death. Granted. It's pretty scary to think about that the government forgets that they are there for the people and not to rule over the people. It's made up of the people for the people. And for the people, by the people seems to be a thing that is currently being overlooked in a lot of places, especially the state that I live in, but clearly in New York. Now, this has brought a lot of people together, and I love this one. It's so strange. People on both sides of the political aisle, it does seem that the conservative side of the country, the Republican side, has been way more involved, like vocally, about this whole thing. And one of the main reasons for that is because the conservative side is more on the government leaving you out of, just leaving you alone and staying out of things. And, you know, a lot of people, though, seems like they're getting a little crazy. Just remember when they ask what caused it all. Just remember what caused the uprising. I'm not saying there should be an uprising over a squirrel, guys. That's not what I'm saying. But it is, you know, the camel maybe, or the straw that broke the camel's back. The camel that broke the camel's back? I don't even want to think about that. That's disturbing. Now, I'm going to mention this. I'm not going to show because I asked for permission and did not hear back, but King Trout, a content creator, had a great little short 14-second video that I was hoping to show of a similar thing about what radicalized you in this situation. I didn't hear back from him, but just an aside, if you don't know who he is, check him out on the X and go look at what he posted because his little, it's like a 14-second video. It's pretty funny. The guy's pretty hilarious overall. Now, when it comes to being radicalized, though, and standing up against the government, sometimes reasonable squirrels are driven to do unreasonable things. I love the squirrel killdozer thing. I think that this is one of the best memes I have seen. This is grade A choice, prime meme right here. And I've been around for a long time. I've been around since before memes. And this is up there in my top 5 memes, at least for the last 10 years. Now, when that radicalization happens and everybody gets together, this is so sad. There's a couple of these format memes here, and this one is Fred and Peanut. We don't want to forget about Fred, guys. I've noticed that Peanut gets the most love because he was the popular YouTube star, the popular, I think it was not YouTube, but Instagram. He was the one that was a social media icon of this generation, Peanut the Squirrel. But his buddy Fred was also euthanized in this entire thing. And it's very sad. He was a little baby raccoon. I don't know if you've ever seen a baby raccoon. They're super cute. The bigger raccoons that live in your dumpster, probably not the coolest. But the baby ones that are being raised and taken care of in a rescue, nothing wrong with those raccoons, man. Nothing wrong with those. But sometimes we got to get together, though, and cry havoc and let loose the squirrels of war to get that justice back. Maybe that's what we have to do, folks. Just get together. Call the men. We ride at dawn. I love the image in my brain I get of this squirrel uprising. And it is just funny because these memes have brought that out. And, they didn't forget about the roof Koreans in America calling in their friends, Korean flamethrower squirrels. I love this, just a giant squirrel uprising against the New York government. That way we don't have to do it as human beings. We don't have to worry about it. The squirrels will take care of the work. Now, that's the other thing that New York I have an issue with. They pretended like these are an invasive animal. It's a fucking squirrel in New York. There's more squirrels in America than there are humans in America. I'm certain of that. And squirrels domesticate themselves around people, which is even crazier. They will go, if you have a bird feeder, and every season you'll see squirrels come up. It'll be the same damn squirrels. And they'll even invite themselves to your house sometimes. They're kind of cute little creatures. They're kind of funny. But with all this going on, I wouldn't be surprised if something does bust out over this. Maybe not violently, but we're definitely have the war of memes is upon us. And maybe we'll get a movie out of it. Who knows? Maybe it'll be John Wick Chapter 5. Oh, I don't know, man. As long as they make it better than the last John Wick, we'll be okay. I think that Peanut deserves a little better than that last John Wick movie. And of course, if we had time machines, girls would say, I'm your grandmother, and we'd go back and say, take this and find Peanut, hide. They're coming for you, buddy. Get strapped or get stacked. That's all I'm saying, man. The reality is, we all want a government small enough to neither have the time nor resource to conduct a 5-hour raid over a pet squirrel. This is very serious, man. Like I said, they're ignoring a lot of other problems. They are importing people from across the world illegally in this country to places and communities in this country that do not have the resources to house them. And then when there's a hurricane and tons and tons of people need aid, the government, to use that money for something else, says, oh, we don't have the money for the American citizens because we used it to house illegal immigrants. This is a serious problem. It's a serious issue that there's crime all over New York. New York is riddled. It is a cesspool of crime. It is much like my state of California, Stan. It is a cesspool of crime and disgustingness. And the government doesn't seem to have the resources or time to fix it. But God forbid you have an illicit squirrel in your possession. Are we supposed to serial number these squirrels? Are we supposed to is there going to be a squirrel registry? In California, if you have weasels, they'll come in and kill them. Ferrets, they'll just come in and kill them. There's no reason for that. No reason at all. Ferrets, they become dependent on the people they live with. They're not trying to get out into society, into the woods and make more baby ones that are going to invade and take over. I mean, it has happened from time to time. If you've never heard of a nutria, those things are crazy. And there's money on their hides if you kill them in Oregon. I used to shoot them as kids because they killed my rabbits. And the state would pay you for pelts. But, I mean, that's just the reality, is that they're not after the squirrels, man. They're after the citizens. They just want to take your rights, and that's a fact. The more they can take from you, the more they know they can take you down, death by 1,000 cuts. And that's what this government is about in the state of New York, and what it's becoming about all over. And the same people that want to take your guns away invaded a home to murder a squirrel and a raccoon. This isn't some Alex Jones conspiracy, guys. This is reality. If they will do that to homeowners who are just raising a fucking squirrel, what do you think they're going to do to you just for having a gun? There are cases where people have had firearms and had legally, totally legally, had their homes raided because someone called an anonymous tip-in about them for something that wasn't even kind of true. And they were treated like it would have been. And it was treated terribly. You got to keep this stuff in mind, man. This isn't just play. And I think it's kind of fucking ironic that Peanut the Squirrel was investigated more than any of the Epstein clients. We still don't have the names to those sick, disgusting, kid-touching, horrible people who deserve to go into a wood chipper, and I will not apologize for that, especially when we find out who you are. It's a time and place for that to come. But the fact that we would persecute a squirrel and not a kid-toucher it's disgusting. And maybe we'll all get together and wave a new flag as time comes, but I don't know. It remains to be seen. Things could go better. Things could go worse. I don't know. Maybe in the end, though, he'll be Peanut the White. He's come back now to turn the tide of war in our favor of freedom and squirrel and human relations forever. With that, guys, I want to leave with this last one. It's a bit of a tearjerker. It's time to go. Was I a good boy? No. I'm told you were the best. And if you look at the videos of Peanut and his family, you can see they felt that way, that he wasn't just a pet to them. He meant a lot more. He wasn't just something being used for the internet to make money off of. This was someone that was a creature they cared about in their family. This is someone they loved and adored. This was more than just a cash cow. They used the money to take care of rescue animals, man. And you could tell the relationship between the squirrel and people was very deep. Believe it or not, squirrels are incredibly intelligent, more so anyway than people think. Like, I have a rabbit. The rabbit is smarter than my cats by a lot. Rabbit is about as smart as a dog. Squirrels are pretty close to there on the IQ level. They're trainable. They're intelligent creatures. We forget about that. We think they're these little tiny things that like to run in front of cars and cause wrecks. They do that on purpose, though, because they know that we would do this to them. And we show it with Peanut. Anyway, guys, if you have any other good memes, send them to me. Let me know what you think about this whole Peanut situation in the comments below. If you would like to, I will try to remember. I think I have it on the last video I did of the Peanut the Squirrel. There is a link to the Facebook page for the charity Peanut's Freedom Farm. I highly suggest you go and help them out financially, because now Peanut's gone, and that is how they were raising money, was his social media. It's unfortunate, but hopefully something good will come of this, and a lot more animals and squirrels will be rescued, and hopefully the government will kind of see how stupid and how asinine some of their policies are when it comes to things like this, and how invading someone's home over this and treating them like you would a freaking like cartel is freaking disgusting, frankly. And I hope that the family sues the hell out of New York and these agencies involved, and I hope they get more than every penny they ask for. I hope it doesn't even have to be a settlement, that a jury gets involved and makes New York pay to the absolute maximum plus. And the gal that decided to report this because you are a jealous piece of crap, from what I hear, your business isn't doing so good, so maybe you should have thought of that. Jealousy will kill, guys. It's not good to do that. You can look around and say, hey, man, I want to be that successful. How come I can't be like that? That's fine to be introspective and try to figure out how to fix yourself and what you do wrong. It's a lot different to hate somebody else because they're doing something with their life and they were able to find that success that you're wanting to have. It doesn't mean give up. It never means give up. But you certainly don't want to rise to the top on the back of somebody else, stepping underneath people to climb the ladder. That's disgusting. And yeah, there's people that do that, but that shit comes back to bite you in a weird way. Jealousy's a bad thing. Peanut wouldn't be jealous of you. Peanut would want the best for you, but he'd want you to be a better person. So ask yourselves today, kids, what would Peanut do? Anyway, I'm Moo. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please do. I appreciate it. And hopefully next time I see you, it'll be under some happier circumstances. All right. Moo out. Still wearing the chipmunk outfit, I know.